10 on the nose. Here on this 25th day of June at Ely Hall.
Drawing it out.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's the Denkin's Den.
The views expressed by the host during his monologue are those solely of his own, not those of Westfield State University, the Radio Club, our underwriters, or Bob Plass looking quizzically at me right now. And now... Oh, that was a good one.
I got a big one.
Really? Are you constipated?
Oh, for God's sake.
And I say that whilst pointing to my notes here.
There's a lot of them.
Yes. This is a long one.
This could be a humdinger. All right, everybody, mark the tape.
It's going to be a Lulu.
5 minutes and 6 seconds.
You know what, Pete?
What's going on, Ken?
I don't know what to purchase now for my shopping therapy.
You've conquered all nations.
I've been buying stuff to fill an empty void in my life. The void of being alone. Dateless. Single. Lonely.
Oh.
Oh my.
I'm lying. I just like toys. No woman in my life means more money for toys.
I did notice that, by the way.
I got the fancy toilet seat.
Yes.
I have a sous vide wand. There are a few other toys I would like, but they are way out of my budget.
Yep.
Bob, that was sous vide.
Oh, yes.
I thought you spoke French. Sousvide. Sous vide.
Oh, under
vacuum.
Under vacuum. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
okay.
Sous vide. Under nothing,
vide.
actually. VIDE, I think.
My monologue.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'd like things like a full-size ice cream machine.
Yes.
Or an anti-griddle.
Ooh.
So, I would... An
a cold
anti-griddle...
plate. It's a cold plate.
Instantly freezes things you put on it instead of cook.
You
Okay,
ever
Bob?
been to Cold Stone Creamery? That's what they do there. But we move on.
My monologue.
Yes.
My turn.
But, I guess I would have to admit, I am a little bummed right now that I think about it.
Why is that?
Luckily we're in the summertime, though.
Okay.
I say that not because I get seasonal disorder in the winter. I say that because there are many guilty pleasures that come alive on the Idiot Box during the summer.
Oh, no.
Yes. We all know that Big Brother starts tonight. But this is not about Big Brother.
It's not.
There are the game shows.
I know.
Oh,
The 70s is returned.
My favorite is Match Game. I don't know what you think, but I think those writers have a blast with that show. You know what else? Or who else probably has a blast? The censors. I bet they never have a boring day at work.
They have those now?
Dumb Dora is still pretty dumb.
How dumb is she?
But some of the contestants are double dumb. Some of their answers kill me. I find myself yelling at them through my television, and by the time you find it, Pete, I'm going to be done with Match Game. Yeah, I knew exactly what you were doing. To Tell the Truth is back. Card Sharks is back. Pyramid is back.
They finally realized reality TV's run its course.
It's still reality TV. But, to be honest, I don't really watch those. They go along way too slow for me. Of course, they do this for production value.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came across a new one last week. But before I get to it, I want to go back a few years.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody got that reference but you and I.
Yeah, I know. A long, long time ago, in the 80s, there was a game show in Japan called Takeshi's Castle.
Mm-hmm.
You would try to make it through various obstacles in order to make it to the castle, to the
Yes.
end of the challenge.
Yes. I still love this show.
Takeshi would not make it easy, and he would bombard you with all types of things to stop you or slow you down. Mm-hmm. The challenges were physical, and in Japanese-style game show fashion, were creative and strange at the same time. At this point, if you don't know what I'm referring to regarding Japanese game shows, you should go to YouTube
Can I give the American title?
and search
No? Okay.
for Japanese game show. Be forewarned, you may have hours sucked out of your life. But back to Takeshi's Castle. Sort of. In the middle of the 2000s, the then Spike Network got a hold of the footage from Takeshi's Castle.
Yep. Loved it.
And they did some marvelous stuff with it.
The overdubbing was great.
Kenny Blankenship, Vic Romano, Captain Tennille, and Guy Ledouche were all to become popular characters. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Most Extreme Elimination Challenge!
It was awesome.
Also known as MXC.
I used to stay up at night watching that show.
It ran from 2003 to 2007. They did a complete English dub over everything and actually changed what the game was about.
Yep.
There was never an end. It was an endless run of challenge after challenge. And the commentary had nothing to do with the original commentary. It was comical. Some of the phrases they used made me click the reverse button on my TiVo over and over. It is fair to say if you never watched this, you might want to get on the YouTube and see for yourself. This show helped spawn Wipeout on American television.
And that was pretty weak, too.
Yes, you had ridiculous contests, and yes, you had comical commentary, but it wasn't the same. It lacked the double entendres that MXC had. Mm-hmm. Network TV versus basic cable. Different standard. And I mentioned all that to mention this.
Oh, boy.
I found another show I really liked that aired its first episode last week.
Uh-oh. This could be a Lulu.
Holy moly.
Holy moly.
Yeah, I did see the preview for that.
That's the name of it. Holy moly. Extreme competitive mini golf.
Don't lie.
Obstacles that will knock you off the platform and cause you a stroke. A point, not a medical condition.
Well,
Zip lines. Rolling logs you need to dash. I didn't really feel I had time to add anything else to my DVR, but out of gut instinct, I recorded this. The correspondents are great, and the contestants are incredible, okay? They actually have some golfing talent. But then they're put into a character, and they play up to it. Now, one of the holes that must be played is called the Distractor.
the Distractor.
It sounds like something out of MXC.
Sounds like something out of Super Troopers.
All right. Last week, Kenny G came out and stood next to you playing a sax whilst you were trying to putt.
That's awesome.
I'm certainly glad this show is on this summer. It will help me accept the fact that I'm a gadget junkie, and I must now put myself through detox and stop buying stuff. But you know what? I think the real reason for my depression might be setting in soon.
What's the matter, Ken?
4 years and 11 months ago, I stepped into this studio for my first broadcast. I was a guest, but quickly went from sidekick to host. For just about 5 years, I have faithfully reported to the third floor in Ely Hall here at Westfield State University for community radio. Today, it is the last time. Pregnant pause make people
I
think
got
that
you.
I'm quitting.
Yeah.
Next week, all of our broadcasts will be taking place at Studio 120 at the Tech Academy. Nothing changes for listeners, but you know what? I will miss a few things. Like...
Uh-oh. It's a list.
Told you this one's going to be a Lulu.
Oh, no.
I'll be missing things like getting bricks thrown at me whilst walking across campus with a MAGA hat on. The long walk to the car when the polar vortex is pounding down on us. The wait for the elevator. The soda machine being out of ginger ale.
Ooh.
And at this point, everything but Pepsi, and I hate Pepsi.
Life is tough.
Fixing parking tickets for guests that forgot their parking passes.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Strangers walking in mid-broadcast looking to get a show of their own.
That's happened.
That's why I mention it.
Yep.
You know, actually, Studio 120 is super simple to get to. As long as you know where it is. You literally have to get into the bowels of the lower campus and go into a place that looks like you have no business being in the first place.
It's true.
12-foot high fences will do that to you.
Reminds you of the penitentiary, Ken?
I am nonplussed with the current set for community radio at Studio 120. But producer Pete and myself will be tweaking things this summer, thank God. Apparently, my chief assistant engineer assistant title follows me from one studio to the other.
Along with cook and bottle washer.
The kitten of the keys also knows that I hate the plain blue wall at Studio 120. So when I am in, I will be a PETA and make sure I will give him some great chroma backdrops for us to use. Middle of August, we broadcast from Mount Everest. That type of thing.
I'm going to have to bring extra lights for that.
I still say that wall should be green. Nobody wears green. That's why Harry Rock picked out those shirts.
Are you going to help me paint it?
But, you know, some of us wear blue.
Are you going to help me paint it? Again?
Yes,
Okay.
because it should be green.
I didn't
Baby
want
puke green.
I didn't want to stare at
Nobody
green all
wears
day.
that color. It's a horrible color. But look at this. Bob's wearing blue. I'm wearing blue. I mean...
Oh, so you have no pants. That's fine with me.
You know, another benefit of moving to Studio 120 is that everyone will get to avoid the next 2 years of construction on Western Ave.
That's the truth.
And that...
Yeah.
And that makes me happy. Let's pay our bills. We'll be back right after this.
Truth is, I thought it mattered. I thought that music mattered. But does it bollocks? Not compared to how people matter.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down.
This memory
Underwriting for WSKB's community radio programming is brought to you in part by R. Levesque Associates. They are offering landscape architecture, civil engineering, environmental permitting, and land surveying. RLA is a second-generation company devoted to excellence in the planning and design of outdoor spaces. On the web at rlaland.com or at 40 School Street in Westfield.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
Wednesday mornings from 6 till 8, it's Tina Gorman with Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Oh, God, he's still going. Oh, how can he? Oh, he must be feeling really stupid.
I don't think he's feeling anything from the neck down, Ken. Now, second look on our MXE Impact Replay. Good foot plant and...
Oh, yeah. Totally sick.
Indeed it was, Ken. A disgusting sight.
No, that means I liked it.
What happened out there?
Did I win?
Maybe we should talk to your son. So what did your daddy promise you if you won?
A new bike.
Oh, a new bike. Do you think it will happen now?
No way.
So come here. What do you think of your daddy now?
He's a loser.
Stool.
Coming up, it's Log Drop. Who will come out number 1 or number 2? Find out.
Oh, we're back.
Yeah.
We're live.
Yes.
We have to stop watching MXC, Pete.
I potted up because it's funny.
Oh my gosh.
For the people that where are you going?
Children.
It makes Wipeout look like tame, like a Boy Scout troop meeting.
This is being
So now
into...
so now YouTube all of a sudden is going to notice a spike in MXC hits from Westfield, Massachusetts today.
Absolutely.
My God, I
that
I
funny,
could be
Bob?
sucked into that vortex. It is humorous, and I
It's
say
like-
that we're really, Kathy. You don't seem to appreciate that kind of humor.
No, it's like Stooges stuff.
Or it's like Mystery Science Theater 3000, but better.
Yeah.
Most extreme elimination challenge.
Yes.
I've got to remember this.
Speaking of getting sucked into a vortex.
And now it's time for therapy with Bob Plass.
Oh,
I don't think there's enough time for all this therapy.
What's up? Oh, yes, there's somebody at my door. Hey. Oh, come in.
Let me in, Bob.
Oh, Ken. Oh my gosh. That scared the heck out of me. What's going on, my friend? Hey, have a seat here. You look kind of like happy. It's like television.
I am
season.
not going to have a seat because
Why?
over the past week I happened to succumb to plantar fasciitis.
No. A planter's wart on your
No.
little toe.
This is the fasciitis.
The fasciitis.
It's not topical. It is the tendon inside your foot. The muscle that goes from your heel to your toes.
Oh my gosh, Ken. I am so sorry.
I've got 3 of the 5 most major causes.
What are they?
Well, the 3 that I have is I'm fat. I'm a male, age 30 to 60.
There you are.
And I have flat feet.
I have flat
So
feet,
I am going to
but
remain. I'm
not
going to
of that-
remain standing right now, because so long as I'm on it for about a minute,
Right.
it's okay.
What is the doctor saying about this, Ken?
You just have to exercise it and use a splint at night. And
It's not infected or anything like that.
No. It's just it'll go away after a few months if I'm careful.
My gosh.
And there's nothing I did to cause it.
How many people in the country do you suppose suffer from this?
There's a lot of people suffering, because when I went to Wally World,
Yeah.
Kathy, when I went to Wally World,
I heard that.
Yeah.
I'll get over it. Help me.
there's actually stuff there for plantar fasciitis off the shelf. So
Really?
it's very common.
So
I just wish it
you
wasn't
don't feel
as
alone in
common
this.
where it hit me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But I've got that. I'm bummed out. It's the last day here at Ely.
Oh gosh, I know it.
But
The walls are seeming sad to me.
I am hoping that you can cheer me up by saying that you actually got caught up on Pose.
I got caught up on Pose.
Now, you see what I was talking about last week? That first half hour was not that show we watched last week. It was off in a completely different direction.
That's right. The first half hour, for those folks who don't see Pose, during that half hour, would you explain what happened on Pose to folks that have not seen it?
They went to an island where they bury people who can't afford to be buried.
Yes, yeah, and it's an actual island off the in the harbor of New York City, and that's where they were. And they were burying folks who suffered from AIDS back then, and so they were, because
no names, no markings. You were a number, and you were thrown into the ground.
Yes, exactly right. Because there was this fear that the body would contaminate the undertaker or whatever. So consequently, a lot of folks couldn't find undertakers to do the burial, etc., or even cemeteries. Can you imagine? I mean, it's just in our age that actually happened, and so that was really sad.
And then the competing just came right back.
Oh, when something like that happens, you just sort of, I think that folks want to. It can sadden you so much, or it can anger you so much. It's a call to action.
You always had the House of Abundance fighting the House of Evangelista, and of course, you know
this is on the show.
Who came from Abundance?
RuPaul.
I'm talking about on the show. I'm Paul.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
All right, Electra.
Oh, Electra.
Remember that? And
Electra.
then she was hanging out with Evangelista.
That's right.
And now
she's left.
She's left again. She went off on a tangent.
Yeah.
It looks like we have another house
that is being developed. That's
Wintour. The House of Wintour.
Oh, yeah, because Anna Wintour is the editor of Vogue magazine. And the whole episode, Kathy, was about voguing. Well, you saw it.
No, I saw the first one. I didn't see the second
It
one.
was too intense for Kathy. She can't do it.
It was very intense, that first one, especially the opening scene in the cemetery.
Yeah. It was so surprising that I had no idea about that, and I lived through that there. There was another scene in St. Patrick's Cathedral where Cardinal O'Connor was surprised by folks from ACT UP.
That I saw.
Yeah. And I actually worked for an offshoot of ACT UP. Hey, in New York City there was a housing crisis, so they founded ACT UP folks founded a housing crisis, housing works for folks who had AIDS, who needed housing because they were homeless and they were also drug addicted. So I worked for Housing Works, and there was a whole big scene at ACT UP in the TV show that was actually filmed on 14th Street in the center where we used to go. You've got to see this show for the historical significance.
There's a lot of accuracy in this TV show.
Absolutely. And it will tell you something that you probably don't know about that period of time, and it will also teach you about an entire culture or a subculture that was really created to provide families for folks who didn't have families because their families had given up on them, either for their sexual proclivities or their wish to dress in a different way, or they're having AIDS or HIV or substance users, etc., etc. It's a world that we probably don't know, and even those who lived it probably didn't know it as well. And so I look forward to a season of Discovery on Pose. Hey, and it's making you happy to watch that, right, my friend Ken? I mean, like, or what is it doing for you?
It opens my mind. All right, it shows me something different on TV instead of the same old
junk.
Oh, that's fair.
all the time.
That's so right.
And you know how I get pulled into the same old. So, it happens.
Yes.
Whilst I have you, I need to take care of one other thing.
Oh my gosh! While I'm here, yes, Ken. What? I hear the sound of Big Brother. It's starting tonight. The marathon, 3 nights a week.
The ads look fabulous. I have to say the ads are very catchy.
Oh really? Oh,
I've seen the I've seen the ads.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Ken, guest update. Mark's on his way, but he got stuck in traffic on Route 20 because they closed the road for a short period of time on Western
Lloyd's
Avenue.
Hill is closed.
Yeah.
So I should go down Route 20.
Yeah, you can't go down Lloyd's Hill.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Can't go down.
Traffic update. Don't avoid Lloyd's Hill.
You know what? They paved it a month ago, and now they tore it up.
They said it was temporary, so.
Why bother?
They can reclaim the pavement.
So Ken,
Big Brother starts tonight on the Tiffany Network.
On the Tiffany Network.
That's what CBS is referred to, the Tiffany Network.
Oh, I had no idea. Oh.
Nobody heard that before?
Never
I heard that.
Why
you've heard that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
The Tiffany here.
Why is it called that?
I never looked into why. I just know it used to be called that.
Know the why. Gotta know why.
Well, Tiffany is the great store. It's a beautiful store downtown that sells jewelry, right?
Well, that I know.
In New York City, not
there's
downtown.
also the girl Tiffany.
Yeah. So Tiffany is actually, it's the quality television program station, and therefore they probably called it Tiffany because that's where you go for gold.
Is that your guess, or do you know?
I'm just making
As you do everything, Bob.
CBS is sometimes referred to as the I Network in reference to the company's iconic symbol in use since 1951. It's also been called the Tiffany Network, alluding to the perceived high quality of CBS programming during the tenure of William S. Paley.
Well, there you have
go.
it. I'm pretty smart.
I'm shocked.
You learned something today.
Yes.
And it went on the air
And
in
that'll be another
1929.
$75 for you. As you
Double the
leave.
price.
So Big Brother starts tonight, and tonight is when you'll get a chance
Yes.
to meet Tommy Bracco,
I
Isabella
can't wait.
Wong, Nick Marchione, Jack Matthews, Christy Murphy, Kemi Faknule, Ovi Kabir, David Alexander, Jackson Mitchie, Catherine Dunn, Holly Allen,
Yes.
Annalise Talavera,
Yeah.
Sam Smith, Nicole Anthony, and Cliff Hogg.
Whoa.
Oh, gosh.
How many
Now,
are
there are
altogether?
no return folks from past
No,
seasons.
just like last year. Last year they learned that we're getting a little tired of the return people. Completely virgin cast this year.
I see. Okay, so you've been watching it since last week or so.
I will say one thing, Bob.
Yeah. Ken pays money to see it at 24
I know
hours
he
a day.
does. I know he does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big Brother access.
He's a fan.
So you know
They've been
stuff that we don't.
They've
know.
been playing the game since last Thursday already.
Oh, huh.
All right, they've been in and playing and competing since Thursday.
Wow. So you have a sense of these folks.
And last week, we went over some of the players and what they most likely will be like. And one guy came right out and said, "I want to be the first person to win the HOH." I can tell you, Bob, that did not happen. And I can also tell you, Bob.
Yes.
I don't know what I think about who won the HOH.
I can't wait.
I already know, and they haven't even.
Yeah. See, is it fun
Not
to?
fair.
I mean, like when you watch
No,
you
I'm
watch
not
it live.
The feeds are not on yet.
Oh.
What happened was.
Yeah.
What happened was.
Yeah.
Some microphones were left open on a test feed.
Oh.
And it was overheard. Some
And he thinks
what
that's
was
an accident.
overheard was gameplay and strategy that some of the people were talking about, and from that we were able to deduce who won the head of house.
Big Brother has kayfabe.
Wow, listen to that. Hey, when you watch it live, and then you see it edited on the nights that it's aired on broadcast television. Do you see them editing it to tell a story, or do you say, "Oh, why? I can see how."
To be honest, to clean up the video, to clean up the audio, because it's really, really raw. And they have to put production into it, and they throw in graphics, they throw in BGM.
Yeah.
I mean,
do you want to know what kayfabe means? Do you know what it means, Ken? Kayfabe.
Oh.
The definition in professional wrestling, it is called the work. It's the portrayal of stage events within the industry as real or true, specifically the portrayal of competition, rivalries, and relationships between participants as being genuine and not staged or predetermined nature of any kind. That whole show is kayfabe.
I see.
It's wrestling for the people who don't like wrestling.
Oh, I got it. I'll have a sip of my
You mean-
cafe,
wait,
and then
it's
I'll be
not
on
real?
there.
That was not
Of course
loud
it's
enough.
not. I got you turned up.
Yeah, there we are.
It's not real, Ken. If you
So,
think
Ken,
it is, I got a bridge.
I
Brooklyn.
never said it was real.
He just said it was fun.
All right, and
for all you,
it is a known fact that when the contestants go into the diary room, they are encouraged to do certain things.
Yeah,
to say certain things.
producers
But
tell them what to
at
say.
this point, it has not been predetermined who's going to win.
Got it.
It's not scripted all the way through.
It's like wrestling. I don't think they've ever.
The producers will figure out who they want to win,
and they're
but that
going to
won't
make
happen.
them win. And we're going to make them win.
So it morphs as the program continues. It changes.
Yeah, they have different
the
bookings of
direction.
different rivalries.
Yeah,
the rivalries change as the show progresses to lead up to the big event.
So they really don't know.
Not when you first start. No, there's too many variables.
Yeah. They see
The storylines
They
are
see
not
how
there yet.
America is responding to whoever, and they
they see who gets over with the crowd.
I see.
This is
But
wrestling.
but they're not making people win.
Kenny, just because you
They're
bust
not-
wrestling and then
people
I
aren't
watch
cheating or anything, right?
You know what? I made something for you, Pete, and
What's
I forgot
that?
to bring it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, what's that?
I've been slowly going through my VHSs to just clear them out because they take up a lot of room.
Mm-hmm.
And I came across some early 90s pay-per-view WWF stuff that I just never recorded over. And I made a DVD for you of the 1992 SummerSlam.
That's probably one I watched live with my high school chums.
Probably. So
This is worldwide wrestling?
It was nothing for me to just throw it on the disc, but I forgot it.
I gotcha. Hey, Ken, I see by the clock that
you have to go volunteer.
I do have to go volunteer.
Or go watch Regis and
That's
Kathy
right.
Lee.
So please leave your $50 on the bureau as you.
I thought it was
leave.
75 today.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you for
I'll be your
being here,
bookkeeper.
Kathy. That'll be $75.
$75.
He's gone up on his rates.
I
He
hope
did.
I got. Yeah. No, I gave information.
Oh my.
Yes, I gave information today.
He's robbing me.
I know.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, come back next week and we'll talk about it. See you.
There is no
rebooked.
There is no next week. This is it, Bob.
Oh, well, I'll see you at the studio. Or I'll see you at Studio 120 next week. Get out there and
120.
volunteer.
I just wish it was Studio 54.
I'm in a summer mood now.
Yeah, 120 is our studio.
Back this hitch up into the water. Untie all the cables and rope. Step onto the AstroTurf. Get yourself a koozie, let's go. Who said anything about skiing? Floating is all I wanna do.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley, with convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut. Visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Barnes & Noble College Bookstore in the Ely Campus Center, offering Westfield State t-shirts, sweatshirts, and gift merchandise, all of your academic needs, and offering textbook materials in new, used, ebook, and rental formats. Available at the bookstore on campus or online at westfieldstate.bncollege.com. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Comcast and Xfinity.com, offering Xfinity TV, Internet, home phone, and home security services. Information on all that Xfinity has to offer in the Westfield area is available online at Xfinity.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Wednesday mornings start off right from 6 to 8 a.m. with Tina Gorman and Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Coming up on this edition of Ken's Den, I try to install a Toto into my Cadillac. Mark drives cars none of us can afford. Kathy is carefully corralling cattle, and Pete is lost somewhere on Route 20. And that music...
That was close.
Well, I had one more person on here who I thought was going to stop in, and they haven't. So I needed to edit on
I
the
should
fly.
send you that. You know, you could practice at home.
I have it,
okay.
Actually. So that music means car guy Mark Whitney is back in the studio. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning,
Welcome
everybody.
back, Mark.
Thanks for having me,
Nice
Kathy.
to see you. It's been a while.
It's been a few months.
Sorry you hit some great Westfield construction traffic.
Hit the road, and then, yes, had to continue about 8 miles almost into Russell and come back up around the loop, but it was fine. Made it here in pretty good time. All good. It's all good. It's all good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Lloyd's Hill is closed today, so avoid it at all. I knew that. I saw it I think I saw it on social media that it was going to be closed.
Yeah.
So I actually left early this morning and came up Western.
Yeah, I can see where you would use Lloyd's Hill from where you're coming
Lloyd's
from.
Hill. Sure, absolutely. Absolutely. But I did not. So, Mark, we should have told you.
That's all right. I had an experience coming up Westfield Ave from Western Ave from the other side, and there's construction there as well. They're doing a lot of work there, so everything's good.
Yeah,
It's summer, as you know from your driving around.
Yes,
yeah, and if you follow Mark on Facebook, you know he's been everywhere. To quote Johnny Cash.
Everywhere.
Is that who did that
Yes,
song?
correct.
Yes.
I've been everywhere, man.
Yeah.
and
John Olver's theme song.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about places he's been, but during the break, right before we came on, I heard Vegas.
He mentioned the word, Ken.
So whilst Vegas is fresh on my mind, I need to know why you're out there and what you did.
I had a convention. I had to go for work for a Zuzu truck, so we went out there for 3 days, and ended up from there to San Francisco. But it was a work thing, and of course I'm taking pictures of everything going on and Facebooking them. And
What resort was the convention at?
we went to all of them. I couldn't even tell you. It was
So something here, something there.
Yeah, it was just in the Zuzu event, and of course I'm Facebooking everything, and I'm down in the meeting room, and I get this text from my wife, 911, which means call me right away. And she says, you're not supposed to be Facebooking because I took 3 days off of work for sick time. Oops. So somebody,
as we have now told everyone in Westfield.
Somebody saw the post and said, hey, there's Mark's wife. I thought she was sick.
You know what's easy to do?
And she's out there in Vegas with me.
You know what's easy to do when you're at a convention in Vegas? And this is old true. You know, you could be at the convention center or over at Venetian Palazzo, where they end up having a lot of the larger ones. Mandalay Bay has a huge place too, but
I think our Spring Hill Suites was one of those, some of those places.
Yeah, and you know, Palazzo Venetian it has a huge convention area, and it's very possible for you to spend a few days at a convention in Vegas and never step foot out onto the strip.
I knew that's what you're going to say. Yep.
No doubt. I mean,
and that's on purpose. They want to keep you.
It's
in
an
there.
adventure. You know, we went to this. I think.
And of course, I don't need to see the strip at my point, or at my point in life. I mean,
but it's an exciting. I mean, when you fly into the airport, it's as you know, it's an amazing thing. And then went to the I think the Stratosphere. And they have people.
Did you go up to the 107th?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they actually have people that are like in a, they're strapped in like a roller coaster, and they just go off the edge of the stratosphere.
Oh yeah.
And you know, it's like, oh my God, it was shocking. Then they have the swing set going around and around and around. But you know, it's an adventure. I mean, when you're traveling, it was. I was saying earlier that we went to Red Rock. Cavern, I think it was
Canyon.
Canyon, and you know, of course, I rented a convertible, which is the way to when you do it.
You rent a convertible when you go to Vegas. Yeah,
you would not expect less if you.
I had a nice Mustang convertible, and you know, it was just spectacular. I mean, you see the Grand Canyon is one thing, but the beauty is just stunning. But I was saying that. My wife said to me, how many pictures of Red Rocks are you going to take? You know, they got like 7,000 selfies of, hey, look at that rock, look at that one, look at that one. And then there's another part over there that Howard Hughes had bought a farm there. Mm-hmm. And never had stayed there, but he bought it. Just the beauty is it's spectacular. Mm-hmm. I mean, you think we have the beauty here in New England.
And for me, just flying into McCarran is beautiful. Because what's the first thing and then the second thing you see when you get onto the
I've never been. I don't know.
Well, you have slot machines everywhere at an airport. So it's like, hey, welcome to Vegas. They got the smoking lounges there, so you could, you know, for folks like me, you can relax and have a smoke when you get off the airplane. And then while if you walk to the tram, there's huge billboards that invite you to shoot guns.
Sounds like fun.
And as soon as you see all that, it's like, welcome to Vegas. Yeah. And I know when I see all that, I know I'm in Vegas. I know I am at where I'm going to be retiring to.
But the mountains were still, you know, 1st of May were still snow-capped.
Yeah.
I mean,
it just snowed. It just snowed this weekend.
It was stunning. I mean, it was
Colorado.
just stunning.
Steamboat Springs.
Yeah, 2
feet.
I saw that. Yes.
Yeah, it was 2 months ago. I looked at the top of Mount McKinley out there, and there was still some snow. I'm getting tanned in 90-degree weather. Where
McKinley's in Alaska.
It's a great road trip, no question.
Not McKinley. You know what? It starts with an M. I can't remember what it is now. And didn't they change the name of that anyway? Didn't Obama change the name?
Denalia?
Yeah. Obama is not there. It doesn't even exist anymore because of Obama.
I guess Steve Donnelly's here.
I'm always here. I got to correct. I hear something wrong. I got to come to the studio and correct.
But and then while Steve was correcting me, I then had to correct him. It was a change that his boy Obama ended up making.
I think it was always called Denali before that, and then they changed it to
pass
McKinley.
Was called Denali.
Right, that's what the ancient
Not the mountain.
Indians, huh?
Not the mountain.
Well, whatever.
Do you know the second most climbed mountain in the world?
Pikes Peak?
Nope.
Mount Tom.
I have no idea.
Mount Monadnock here in New Hampshire.
Oh, Monadnock? Okay.
Yeah, just about a half hour east of Keene, New Hampshire.
It's nice. You can see that from Mount Tom, and you can see that from
the second most climbed mountain
Granville.
behind the mountain in Japan.
Can you look down and see the track from up on top of it?
I'm going to tell you a story about that one. As I drive out with my wife and daughter to there, Mount Monadnock in a convertible, up Route 202, which is a long ride from Longmeadow. And they're getting sunburned, and we get to the base of the mountain, and they don't want to get out of the car.
Uh-oh.
So, it's all walking. The interesting thing is the top of the mountain had been burned off by the farmers because there had so many wolves up there eating their livestock. So the farmers had created this fires, so you can see the actual, like a mountain top you'd see up in like Mount Washington. There's absolutely no trees.
No vegetation. It's too high.
So they burned it. But I wanted to walk up there, and my wife and daughter wouldn't get out of the car, so it was a long ride back to Keene. But Keene is a beautiful spot with.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
With they've turned that into like a Northampton. The restaurants and the culture in Keene is now it's just phenomenal.
And we're going to be talking about a lot of great places and parks to drive to and to hang out at. Summertime Cruising with Mark the Car Guy, 902 on the nose. We'll be back right after this.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Noble Hospital, a brand new name for a Westfield institution which is improving the health of our community every day with quality and compassion. Noble Hospital and Bay State Health, better together. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. On the web at baystatedental.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Discussions of local politics, events, happenings, and miscellany potpourri. Ken's Den, Tuesday, 8 to 10. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
9:07 and a quarter here on the 25th day
We're
of June in the year 2019. Anno Domini, this is the Den. Ken's Den. Ken Stomsky behind the microphone, as I am each and every Tuesday morning. In front of the Radio Millennium Board is Kitten of the Keys, Chairman Meow, Peter Coles, and side chick extraordinaire, Kathy Palmer.
I'm way over here.
Who is going to abandon me for the next month.
I know, honey.
Come on. You're killing me, babe.
I have to work for a living. I do that once in a while, so I won't be herding the cows. My dog will be on his own, doing it by himself. He'll be okay.
Can the dog handle it yet?
Absolutely. He is just wonderful.
So he just doesn't run around looking at him anymore?
No. He's, it's amazing because we've had this border collie. We have a border collie. And of course, we have 200 cows. So we've only had this
You
border.
got how many cows?
About 200.
God bless you.
Yeah.
How do you name them all?
I don't know. That's Terry's problem, not mine. I do not name the cows, and actually, he knows most of their names. I do not.
They do have names, though.
They're black and white and give milk, and that's about all I
Is
know.
there any cow tipping involved?
Not with me, no.
Take a look at this nice New York strip I have. I mean, Mo tastes really good.
Yeah.
I got a friend of mine that had a sheep story, but I won't get into that. But
okay.
Sheep.
All right, I'm gonna stop the sheep talking right now.
Moving along.
Moving along.
One thing I wanted to do here during this broadcast, because this is the last broadcast being taken place at this location, was I wanted to try to get the original crew in here from like 4.5-5 years ago, and that would have been Danny Knappich. I was going to try to get him to call in, but he's not able to make it. So I have Danny's buddy, Steve Donnelly.
6% Steve, you can say it. Hey, listen, like I say, you can have good roads or you can have low taxes. You can't have both.
He had to go there, didn't he?
I opened them up for that.
What do I care?
Yes, you do.
I'm not running.
Yes, you do, and you love every minute of it.
And because we're heading into the summer cruising time of the year, car guy Mark Whitney is back with us.
Thanks for having me again. It's always a pleasure. There's a lot of stories and a lot of exciting traveling.
So I originally did an opening using a Top Gear theme, and I called all of us out during it except for Steve because he wasn't in here yet. So basically, if Pete would get in here and do his job, I can do this for reals and actually include what I was going to say about Steve on the Top Gear opening. Do you still have that up? Top Gear? All right. I'm going to do it for reals because we have everyone in here now. Coming up on this edition of Ken's Den, I try to install a Toto into my Cadillac. Mark drives cars none of us can afford. Steve is still wondering where his Tesla is. Kathy is corralling cattle. And Pete is lost somewhere on Route 20.
Nice job.
And that is how you make a post. So
Outstanding.
are you still waiting for your Tesla, Steve?
I gave up on the Tesla,
I was
man.
wondering. Yeah. We hadn't heard about it.
Steve, you
Your
were in
tax
here one
credit's
time
gonna
when
go away.
Mark was in, right?
I did a pre-order.
Your tax credit's going to go away.
$1,000. I know. Well, here's the story.
There we go. Give me a long story or short story.
So, first of all, it was supposed to be ready, like, I don't know what the date was, January 2017 or 18 or whatever.
Of this year or last year?
And passes and passes. I'm like, so I'm on this wait list, and it's like delayed by months and months and months and months. So that was a little discouraging. Then when they do come out with it, it's not the advertised $35,000 they said the starting price would be. It's like $49,000, and I'm like, that's like a soup and switch.
Now
You know what a soup and switch is? It's like they offer this deal, and so that had me lose a little faith. And then after that, you hear all this crazy stuff about how they're behind in production, about how they're slapping parts together in a factory to meet demand, and
about how
that
they're
didn't give me
exploding in
warm fuzzy.
garages and driving underneath tractor-trailer trucks.
Right. And then Elon Musk goes on the Joe Rogan podcast, starts smoking dope, starts posting all this crazy stuff on the internet, and I'm like, am I going to trust this guy to make my car?
Don't make on my meme dealer.
I had one for a couple of weeks, a sedan, and it is wicked fast.
I've heard.
It is to the point of being scary.
Well, they say it makes a combustion engine look just like so outdated.
You have no idea. You sit there, and it's obviously so quiet. So you just go, and it's shockingly to the point of like you have nowhere to go with it, because before you do it, you're doing 90, 95, and but again, there's a range issue. You got the top range is 325 miles, so you got to make sure you have a charging port at home.
Well, that's pretty far though. You can go a ways.
Yeah, but if you got to remember to keep charging it. I mean, if you're down to 150 miles, you say, "Hey, I'm going to go to the Red Sox game tonight." Well, maybe I can't because it's 75 miles. I got to find a place to charge it. Where do you find a fast charging port coming back? It's an amazing car. I mean, it is. When
I was at the valet parking areas out in Vegas not that long ago, there were a couple of Teslas there that we got behind, and some of the doors that they have on some of them, they're just so super impressive. And I don't think that the valet attendant that got that particular car to park knew how to even get it started up.
That was the other thing. They used to offer free charging, so you essentially could travel completely free. Right. That was part of the bargain. That's not in the cards anymore, so you can't do that. But it's still cheaper than gas, I think.
So we figured out what happened with Steve's Tesla. Right now, we're going to go to the phones. Who are we talking with? This is WSKB.
Hey, this is Rico in Columbia. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Good. I'm an avid golfer, and I noticed on Facebook Mark spent some time in Pinehurst, North Carolina, and it looks like he's an avid golfer. I was just wondering if he could comment on his experience there, because I'm looking for a new golf destination to go to. Can you help me out with that?
Yeah, I'm sure. Shortly after I came back from Vegas, I had to go to North Carolina for another training seminar, and end up renting another convertible down in North Carolina in Pinehurst, which is Pinehurst number 2 is designed by Donald Ross, so it's a lot of history for that golf course down there. But that whole area is unbelievable. Just the traveling. Then we went from Pinehurst, which is it's just stunning, and then we drove to Duke University, and you see the history in some of these places down in the area. You may have seen them on my Facebook post, but.
Yeah. I was just down in Columbia. It's beautiful down there, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, if you're getting a chance to do some traveling and driving, it's an amazing, amazing opportunity. Even just going, 2 or 3 hours from where we are now. But to answer your question, Pinehurst is an amazing spot. It's a destination. If anybody's been to the Red Lion Inn up in Stockbridge, they have a big hotel up there, or Wentworth by the Sea. And they've got a very similar hotel down in Pinehurst. It's very majestic. You can see the history of it. The rooms are just stunning, and it's just the money is just amazing. I mean, it's the homes and how they manicure, kind of like Vegas. You're in Vegas. How they manicure the facilities is just But
It's a lot of pomp.
But standing at Pinehurst number 2 is kind of like standing in the first hit at St. Andrews out in Scotland. You know, for anybody who's a golfer or can appreciate the history of those things. Is it Eric? Your name is Eric?
Rico.
So apparently you have an opportunity to go to Pinehurst number 2 or play down there. They got 4 or 5 golf courses. It's an amazing adventure.
So, Rico, I hope Mark answered a question or two about that location.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I love your show, guys. Thank you for having these wonderful
Excellent. Thanks for
guests.
calling in. We're going to stay on the phones.
Just keeps lighting up.
It's
Last day in the studio, now the phone lights up.
And now it's the last time I have a phone to use. So,
Well, no, that's not true. We just have to get it working.
Well, yeah, we'll get it working,
Yeah.
Pete. All right, back to the phone lines. Who are we talking with? You're live on WSKB.
Well, I can't think of any place I'd rather be live.
Oh, my God, I recognize this voice.
Good morning, Brad.
Well, gentlemen,
Brad-
I use the term loosely. How are you?
Yeah, good.
You should.
Yeah, Brad Shepard, local radio icon. Thanks for calling in this morning.
I'm an icon. I'm an institution. I'm a part of a building. Yes.
Are you
Hi.
punking us from your show at the same time?
Sure. Well, no, I will plug you today, but the program will not be uploaded until a bit later on today. But tell me, why are you fellas absconding from that studio and going someplace else? Is it dorm damage or something? Did the college chase you out of there?
That's pretty much it. Yes. I don't want to have to pay for what I've broken up here.
Why are you guys moving? I'm unclear on this.
It's because my employment with the college is ending, but we want to continue the radio shows.
Good for you. You see, I understand this. I can respect this.
And we have a perfectly good studio down there that we can continue to broadcast from.
Where will you be broadcasting
Socialist Studio.
We're going to be broadcasting, Brad, from Studio 120, and that's a brand new TV studio for public access that we've put into the Westfield Technical Academy.
So are you simulcasting radio and TV, or are you just doing?
We've been doing that for years, actually.
Yeah, you're on cable, right?
On the listener's end, it's seamless. Nobody's gonna know anything's different, except for when they actually watch a video feed, they'll see a different image.
And that studio was built to also support the starting up of a radio and television shop at the Technical Academy.
Well, you see, you go through a change, and you exit the change generally into something that enhances you, and it sounds like that's what's going on for you guys, and I think that's wonderful.
Yep, we're growing up after 5 years.
Well, I've been a guest in your studios and on your program 3 or 4 times, and it was always very enjoyable for me. So it's nice to be here on this final broadcast, which is with all the pomp and panoply that it is.
I don't know about that.
Well, if you end up performing at a certain event in Westfield in August, you're going to have to make sure you walk around to see if we're broadcasting down there.
Well, of course.
You're always welcome to sit down and talk with us. I'm not going to say no to Brad.
No, absolutely not.
No one is supposed to do that. That should never happen. That's very disturbing if it does. No, but I'm going to be in Westfield, I think, July 11 with Tina Gorman.
The Senior Center.
Yeah, she's invited me to perform at their ice cream splurge or ice cream surge or whatever they call it.
Mm-hmm.
This will be a little bit different because I'm not going to be with my usual music conductor Richie Mitnick, but I'm going to be teamed up with my daughter.
Oh yeah,
and we're gonna do this gig together, and I'm looking forward to that.
I've seen some postings on social media where you've been performing with your daughter a lot.
Yeah, she's very busy and very successful on the circuit, so to speak, around here. But I don't glom onto that. I leave her alone, and it isn't until she invites me to do something with her, or vice versa, that I'll get involved with what she's doing. But it's always a lot of fun, and the two of us, even though we're in completely different genres of music, there are some places where we connect, and it's always a lot of fun. But anyway, that aside,
I'm lost here, Brad. I didn't know you had any musical talent. What do you do? Sing? Guitar?
I didn't necessarily say I had any musical talent. I say that I'm busy a lot on the circuit. Whether or not there's musical talent involved is a judgment for others. No, I've been a vocalist for years.
He does the
Borscht.
He works the Borscht Belt.
Yes, exactly. I'm a mountain comic.
He's actually quite talented, Steve.
Really? I did not know that.
Yes, Brad, that was a compliment.
Who is this Steve individual who is questioning my ability?
I don't know if he
never met
was in
Steve
here.
Donlin.
I was here when Brad was on.
He was the.
Remember, he's the curmudgeon guy. Yeah.
Or he was the liberal of the
He's our
group that
token
day.
liberal.
Yeah, token liberal.
He's the square peg in the round hole in there, right? Now I remember. So actually, I thought he was a very nice guy, and at least that's what he
fooled you.
He told me, yeah.
So something happened. I think it was a few weeks ago that I wasn't able to make it to again, and it might be because the registration fee is just a little bit outrageous for me. Did you end up making it over to Talkers this year?
Oh, absolutely. I've been every year for the last 4 years. It's an amazing time in New York City for this concatenation of all the talk radio people of the nation, actually, and some of the biggest broadcast operators that exist. People like Jim Bohannon was on hand, Sean Hannity, Brian Kilmeade, all people that Steve truly enjoys, and even the guy I grew up listening to, who shaped my desires to do something in broadcasting, Bruce Morrow, Cousin Brucey, for God's sake, from the great days of WABC, who is actually the last man standing and still working on Sirius Radio. Brucey was down there. So it was a nonstop conveyor belt of seminars and panel discussions and addresses and presentation, all about where talk media is today. And you know what's funny, guys, is that you're doing something that is cutting edge. And it's interesting that even the phrase, even the word radio, it's not being outmoded or replaced, but it doesn't really cover everything anymore.
No.
You'll hear the word audio being used where radio used it, not even just podcast, because audio programs really cover it. But it's also interesting that podcasting has, I didn't know this, in the last, 6 years has become $1 billion industry. And there's something like 800,000 podcasts out there right now.
I listen to Mike Rowe.
Void where you can be doing something else, doing the dishes, driving to work, sitting around. You can have a podcast going on in the background, occupying your mind, or you can tune in and out.
I listen to Mike Rowe religiously because he brought back my favorite radio show of all time. He brought back Paul Harvey's The Rest of the Story.
Oh my God!
And he calls it The Way I Heard It.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, is he reading the original scripts or presenting the original recordings?
All new ones.
New ones. Oh, that's a wonderful idea.
And he's funny because he talked about their 100th episode. They did a special, just kind of a conversation. And he said, I came into the office at Micro Works, and there was a message from Paul Harvey Jr. to call him. And he goes, "Oh crap! I'm going to get sued. I'm in trouble." He called Paul Harvey Jr. and had an hour-long conversation with him on the phone. And Paul Harvey cut a check for $15,000 to his foundation on the spot.
Isn't that wonderful?
He says,
I got to tell you something, guys. I got to tell you something about Paul Harvey before I forget. There was a time when I was early on in my career, which is shortly after the advent of talking pictures.
Talking.
Early on in my career, I was working for a station, and it was funny because we carried ABC radio programming.
Yep.
And every single day at 12:15, everybody in the office would stop what they were doing, and they would sort of meander under the house monitor speaker in the hall and listen to the
Paul Harvey News and Comment.
Yeah, and he always used to begin.
I ran it. I used to run it when I was at HYN.
Then this will make you feel at home here when it would begin with, "Good morning again, Americans. Stand by for news."
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
They say, "Oh, did you see that story about the woman who wanted to buy a sweater for her pet poodle? And she went to the pet store, and she wasn't sure what size. And the man said, well, bring the poodle in. We'll measure the dog. And she said, oh, I can't do that. I want it to be a surprise. Page 2.
Exactly. It was so much fun.
Him. Yeah.
And so Mike Rowe he loved it too, and he absolutely and Paul Harvey Jr. was like, thank you for keeping my dad's memory alive and his legacy alive. And he's done 130 episodes now of The Way I Heard It.
He got a great voice, he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Paul Harvey, yeah.
Yep. So does Mike Rowe.
Does he?
Oh yeah.
Well,
the guy that does dirty jobs.
Yeah, well, right.
I went to a National Association of Broadcasters convention. Went to it a couple of times, and it was quite fascinating.
In
There
Las
was one
Vegas?
Yeah, I went to Vegas in '85. I did that one, my God. And then years later, I went to one when they had it in Boston.
Yep.
And I was working in Boston at the time with what was then the old WCOU. And I went to the convention, and Paul Harvey was a keynote speaker. And it was so interesting because in direct contrast to that big bombastic delivery on the radio with that big Midwestern basso profundo, when he spoke at this, he drew you so close to him because uncharacteristically, Paul Harvey was sort of talking to you like this. It was a very soft approach. And I thought, my God, this guy has a rheostat on him where he could just dial it up, dial it back, as the case may be.
Yep. True broadcaster right there.
He was one of a kind.
Yep.
Yeah, speaking of broadcasting, before we let you go, Brad, you have a little daily thing that you do. And
What do you mean, let me go? I had planned to stay with you for about 2 hours now.
But we started talking about how certain things sound on the radio, and it got me thinking, because your microphone on this is kind of tuned to, I don't know, a particular. It's tuned like a particular Connecticut radio station used to sound.
Is that right?
Have you ever heard that before?
No, but I have an absolutely beautiful microphone that was sort of custom designed for me by Matthew Sullivan, and I think it's about it's a good thing I didn't purchase it.
Okay.
Because, it would be several $1,000s, but it's a wonderful sounding microphone. It could be, I don't know, do you like the way it sounds?
Yes. It has a very unique sound. I'm not trying to think of WABC. I can't think of the call sign of the station now. There was just a little bit of an echo in the background, just to make it nice and full.
Oh, that could be because I'm coming to you from the room where I have my hot water heater.
The resonance is natural.
Yeah. So tell me and tell my listeners about this daily little thing you do.
Absolutely. Well, it's very exciting because we have. It's not. People say to me, "What are you doing? You're doing a podcast," and I think that's kind of a very gentle oversimplification, because what we have here is really one of a kind for Western Mass. It is uber local, hyper local. It is a platform for podcasting, and we call it Pioneer Valley Radio. And the nice thing about Pioneer Valley Radio, and I think you gentlemen could probably echo this too, is that I'm really not responsible to a lot of extreme regulation, either governmental or corporate.
Mm-hmm.
And I can place things and put things on the air and tell you about who's got a new pet grooming business, when the governor is coming to make an address, who got promoted at a bank branch. I can do all of those things without somebody coming in and saying, "What are you saying that for? What are you putting that on the air for? What are you?" And this way, we can really get behind the people and the businesses and the events that make life interesting here in Western Mass. And let's face it, there has been something of a dilution of very, very local talk radio in Western Mass. And, one noteworthy signal's now sort of a hybrid of Springfield and Worcester. But the thing about Pioneer Valley Radio is that it's focused specifically and only on Western Mass. Now, I do a program simply called Brad Shepard Today, and we were going to name it Sylvia Sidney Today, but it wouldn't have meant anything to anyone. And that focuses on things that are going on. It's a daily type of program. It might include an interview or two, or it might just be me talking about what I think is noteworthy for today. And guys, that program could be 9 minutes or it could be 27 minutes. But please remember, stripped out of it are things like traffic reports and weather forecasts, and commercials, and everything else that you can get elsewhere.
I listen to it when it shows up at the top of my feed.
Well, Brad, and that's why what we're doing here is so revolutionary. When Mike Knappich proposed it years ago, it's revolutionary because it's disappeared in the local market.
Matter of fact, Brad, in July, that's going to be 5 years of doing local talk morning drive radio here in Westfield.
That's wonderful. And I should note that Mike Knappich proposed to me some years ago, but we were both married at the time, so nothing came.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
Although we are good friends.
That's a little too much information.
All right.
Well, I felt the same way. Well, guys, I know you're following structure in there, and I appreciate it. And,
A little bit.
We tried to. I blew past my 9:15, and I'm up against my 9:30. But I want to thank you for calling in, Brad.
Well, I'll make this quick. I champion what you're doing. I look forward to the days ahead because we're all doing something a little bit different here in American media, certainly for Western Massachusetts. And I thank you, gentlemen, for your kindness toward me and including me in some of your programmings over the past few years. And I look forward to being with you again.
Well, yeah, we'll invite
Sean,
you.
Good luck.
We'll invite you to the TV studio and then one of Ken's shows, and we'll keep you for lunch or something.
That would be wonderful. You take care, guys, and thank you.
All right.
See you, Brad.
Thanks for calling in.
Bye.
Hey, Brad.
My pleasure. Bye now.
9:31. We just missed 9:31 and a half. Pete, I want to do a quick break because all of a sudden I only have like 28 minutes left of this broadcast. We'll be back right after this.
Underwriting for WSKB's community radio programming is brought to you in part by Dunkin' Donuts, providing new handcrafted espresso drinks and all-day breakfast sandwiches. There's more to love with DD Perks, a loyalty program that's loyal to you. On the web at DunkinDonuts.com and at several locations throughout Westfield, including the Ely Campus Center.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. On the web at baystatedental.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Friday mornings is something different on 89.5 FM. It's JP's Talk About Town.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University. This is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Bird, bird, bird. Bird's the word. Bird, bird, bird. Bird's the word. Well, don't you know about the bird? Well, everybody knows that the bird is the word.
9:33 and a half. The bird is the word. Kathy, I played that one just for you. That's a brand new clip that I came across this week.
You've had too much time on your hands.
Yeah, that is Family Guy. And normally we play the other Surfing Bird.
By the way, did you see that Seth MacFarlane's going to actually be in a serious role this fall? He's on another series?
Yes, I did.
He's got a serious role for once.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm looking
I saw
forward
that.
to that.
I saw the other people that were in that, and I'm like, geez,
that's a good cast.
It's a good cast, and I can't really picture Seth MacFarlane in there, but and what character was he playing on that? Do you remember?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I saw a brief clip of it, and I was like, ooh, that's going to be good.
Mm-hmm. So Steve Donnelly, car guy Mark Whitney, it's summer cruising time, and I'm sure that we didn't cover all the places you've been to the past couple months, because I know you're all over Facebook. I've been here, I've been there, I've been everywhere. We covered Carolina, we covered Vegas. Locally, if somebody wants to go on a day trip or two.
Well, I got to tell you, back in the wintertime, I had a Jeep, and I took it out on Lake Pontusic up in Pittsfield. And then it was Lake Onata. So,
Camp Granada?
Lake Onata.
Oneida.
And the ice was like 17 inches thick. But, if you're out there in a boat, in a summer boat, when you're out there in a four-wheeler in the middle of a snowstorm, it was just unbelievable. So there's a lot of things you can do locally. Mount Monadnock, Mount Greylock. I just was at Mount Greylock a couple weeks ago up in Adams or Pittsfield.
I just live in doing a drive up Route 5 sometime, up into Vermont, some of the views up there, maybe catch a train in Brattleboro.
Mount Greylock
White River
is, a half hour just north of Pittsfield.
Yeah.
But the views, so I get up there, and the monument on the top of Mount Greylock is one of the author from Harry Potter is going to do some type of using that as a background of one of the
Yeah, it
books.
was one of her books. Yeah, she's using that as one of the locations.
Right, and so I get up there.
What does that have to do with the Hogwarts?
It's the American. They brought the same type of thing
version.
to America. She's going to do a new series.
She's got a new series.
So we're up. I'm up there, and then these guys are jumping off the cliffs, and these parasailers.
You know who's big into that?
Which is amazing.
Barry Krieger loves that.
Barry Krieger.
No
kidding.
Oh yeah, loves to parasail.
So to answer your question,
off
you can go
things.
up Route 5 North. You can go up to Berniston.
Route 2 is a nice trip.
I was up in Shelburne Falls to see the Bridge of Flowers, which
It's
is an
beautiful up
amazing.
there. Mhm.
I mean, and there's a couple.
I've done a
restaurants.
loop. I've done 5 to 2 across to out to the Berkshires, to Williamstown, and then back down 7, and then
Sure.
back on the Pike or Route 20.
I mean,
it's
just
a fun loop.
even just the local places you can go. I mean, you know, the Berkshires is one thing, but you go into the Worcester area, but into Vermont is just amazing. But if you have an opportunity to do some traveling, the nice part is you just wake up some morning and say, hey, I'm going to take a road trip. Where are you going? And,
That sounds like something Pete would do.
And just start driving.
You know, I know, Steve, a few years back, you were actually over in Germany and you drove on the Autobahn.
Yeah, I'll always remember that.
Did you really?
That was pretty awesome.
What were you driving?
A Mercedes convertible. And
Oh, you poor baby.
These guys are going past you like nothing, right?
my wife does not like high speed. In fact, she doesn't like me driving at all. So she drives me everywhere, which is nice. I can't complain about that. But I dropped the wife.
Well, you're a kept man, right?
Yeah, I'm a kept man.
Yeah.
So I dropped the wife and kid off at the hotel, and I just start heading west on the Autobahn. So I'm going west, and then the sun. I'm going, well over 100 miles an hour. There's the sun, like a fireball setting, and I had the music blasting, and the top was down, so I couldn't get up to like top speed, So I'm running low on gas, so I said, all right, I got to turn around. So I turn around, I put the top down, and I head back east, and then there's a full moon. I'm headed straight into the full moon, and I was just going as fast as I could. Now, I'm not very courageous, so at about 135, I got a little scared. I was like,
It reminds me of that episode on Seinfeld when he took a test drive with Kramer, and they had no gas in it, and see how far they could go.
See how far you can go, yeah.
See how far you can go.
How far can you really go?
135. I got up to about 115, 120 on the Pike once.
Yeah.
Oops.
I think I've gotten close to that. maybe.
That's about as fast as I'd want to go on that road.
The dumbest thing I've done, I did about 110 on San Diego freeways. So that
When you're traveling out
when it
west, I was in San Francisco, and some of those routes out there, you're doing 85, and the people are going past you like you're standing still.
Is there any place other than going to the Las Vegas Speedway where you can just get in a car and see how fast the son of a gun will go?
I think there's a place in
Palmer has track
or
days.
maybe
Palmer's
the
got the track now.
salt flats, maybe in Utah. Can you do that
Stafford
there?
Motor Speedway has track.
And I think the one that Paul
days
Newman
where you
used to
can-
go to out in
Lime Rock?
Lime Rock. I think
Lime Rock has Skip Barber Racing School.
But I'm not talking about an oval. I'm just talking about
The road course.
a
Oh,
strip.
Oh, you got
like
Lebanon
a-
Valley. Lebanon Valley still has drag days.
Is it just-
Matter of fact, the Westfield Motorsports Club just went up there with their car.
Flying
Lebanon
into
drag
Vegas,
day.
you might remember this. You're flying into Vegas, you look down and you see these roads that just go
On and on.
straight for looks like
Yep.
40, 50. I mean, dead
Yeah.
straight, and
Yeah.
it's shocking that they're just a kind of intersection. There's nothing there.
Yep.
I mean, why is there an intersection there? And so, to answer your question, I'm sure there's.
Yeah, well, I know.
Lebanon Valley Dragway you can go to.
I know in Utah
Yeah, they have open days.
where they test the rockets because it's wide open. I know that you can take your car there and just open it up.
Yeah, they have the Salt Flat days, I believe.
Yeah.
Another trip would be to go down to Nauset Beach. If you got a four-wheeler, go out to Nauset Beach, stop the tire pressure in your four-wheeler down to 15 pounds, and you can go out there and just pull up right on the water.
I've done that in New Smyrna Beach in Florida.
There you go.
You basically, there's a hard track on the beach that's basically a road, and you pull off the hard track. You set up on the other side of the road, and your kids run into the beach.
Yeah.
But it's
the nice part about the Nauset Beach is you see the seals and everything out there. If you this time of year you get lucky, you've seen a great
shark.
Yeah,
the sharks.
But we were talking about the Teslas.
Aren't the sharks eating the seals?
And
that's their food source. Yes.
The Teslas. You're not ordering one. You're kind of backed off of that right now.
Well, my position now is I guess in 2020 Toyota's coming out with some cars, so I don't trust.
I can
Tesla.
see you in a Prius.
Well, no, it's not a Prius. There's new electric cars.
A Prius
out there.
would fit you.
So I'm going to see where it goes. I'm a little sketchy on Tesla. I don't know that the company's going to be around in 2 or 3 years. Maybe it will. Maybe I'm wrong.
They're sending us to the moon. They're going to be around.
Well, I don't know. So I'll see. I'm taking a wait and see approach.
They got a lot of government
the
contracts.
technology is only going to get better,
Speaking of Tesla, I know something was supposed to happen at 11:30 last night. I was prepared to watch it, and then it was bumped over to 2:30.
It happened.
I wasn't up. Did the Falcon Heavy complete its mission?
The most ambitious mission they've done yet. They launched like 20-something satellites.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Or what's this? He's
and
launching
they caught the fairing too.
Is this the project where he's launching 600 satellites? Or something?
No, that's his cluster.
That's the low Earth Wi-Fi internet stuff.
Yeah. Starlink. This was a DoD mission.
Yeah.
This was a DoD mission. STP-2.
Have you guys downloaded that thing on the space station? You can download it on your phone, and you can actually
find out where it is.
See it going. No, you can actually see it if it's a clear night. You can actually see it.
Watch it.
Going across.
Augmented reality. Yeah.
You're standing there and you can see this thing going across, and it's the International Space Station.
And it goes fast.
I mean,
it's moving at 17,000 miles an hour.
I've seen it.
It's
and then there's
impressive.
a Chinese satellite that goes over it. That's on the same app, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that too. And it'll tell you what time, and it'll tell you where in the sky. You can hold your phone up. It'll tell you exactly where it is.
They've got the same thing for commercial flights, so you can download the app. You get
Flight
a
Radar
3D
24
augmented reality view.
Yeah,
of
Flight
the
Radar
planes.
24.
Yep.
Yeah, there's probably a few different apps out there for it.
Yeah, and you can and on that app Peter's mentioning, you can click on any particular plane.
Right,
and, call up the information on the transponder. What it is, the tail number and
current live info.
Well, when you were a kid,
Awesome.
you would always look up at the plane and say, "I wonder where that plane is going. Where did it come from? Who's in it?"
Now with Flight Radar, you can do that.
Now I don't care anymore.
But the technology, as we're talking about the Tesla, and sitting here in 10 years, the truck industry is going to be a huge input on that. Look at the square footage on the top of an 18-wheeler. Just that visual area to put solar panels or some type of a to recover the electricity. So the Tesla Tesla's going through some growing pains, but it's huge.
Their house batteries and stuff. They're really starting to push the housing.
They're into a huge market now.
There's all these conspiracy theories that there are investors who are trying to drive Tesla stock down because they bet against the company. So they're supposedly putting out all this misinformation.
You realize easily Elon Musk just doesn't give a
Huh?
crap, so he doesn't care about that.
Well, no, I'm just saying that's the conspiracy theory that's out there. I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah, but you believe all that because you're a kook.
I don't know what. I don't know.
And
what
the aliens are coming.
All I know is
we didn't invite Steve to beat up on him.
I see the guy. I see Elon Musk's tweets, and he's a kook too. So
I've seen some of your tweets too, there, Steve. Okay.
There was an article over. There was an article over in Denmark a couple months ago. It was the first time ever they've sold more electric vehicles than they did combustion.
it's taken off.
I don't know if it was Denmark or Sweden, but
Europe.
Interesting.
It's electric vehicles are
coming.
As somebody who has a North Star, I can't accept an electric engine right now, because you feel it's not just the sound of the exhaust, but the rumble of the engine that you feel when you're sitting down. I mean,
what's a North Star? What's that?
It's a 4.6 liter Cadillac high performance engine.
Here we go back to the Cadillac. Here we go.
Really?
I promised.
I knew that.
I promised one of my listeners I would say something about a Cadillac today.
I told him to call in.
Yeah,
There's nothing like a Cadillac.
So, but a lot of the electric cars you can put in, flip a switch and you get a mode, you get the sound and whatnot, but you don't get the feel of the Pistons rocking back and
Yeah,
forth.
but we're in a different generation. Our generation is different. Our generation can appreciate that.
So you're saying, well, we're old and
but I think the people today, it's like they want instant gratification of a speed. It's like Amazon. Amazon Market has created this industry that people want it now.
And they also never want to leave their home because now even fast food joints are delivering by vehicle. I think that's the laziest thing I have ever seen.
I mean,
seriously,
what car can go up and against a Barracuda or a GTO Judge? There's no car in the market
the sound
now.
and the power, and when you stepped on that gas, you flew.
No manufacturer's a car now that is like, wow.
I know.
That car will be collectible in 20 years. No, it won't be. I mean, the car.
No, because it won't last that long.
Right. Cars
they don't even make them to
and
last
70s.
that long.
Right. So the market has changed. The industry's changed. And the people
Mark
have
is
changed.
right. We had the cars. We grew up with the muscle cars and the cars that when you stepped on that accelerator, you felt it. I mean, you knew what you had.
Right.
When you're driving that Chevy Impala or that Oldsmobile 98.
Open up the four-barrel and you knew what was going on.
You knew it. And nowadays you're going to step on it. I mean, I have the Subaru. Love it. But I'm on the Pike and I step on it and it thinks about and it goes, but it's not the same.
Well, the electric cars will blow away a combustion engine.
Not the same. But the feel, I think we're talking about with Ken.
It's
He's
a
talking about
different
the
feel.
feel,
It's the
feel,
the
it's the
engine,
experience.
the sound,
or
and the
lack
rumble.
of, but
lack thereof.
Are they totally
But you're right.
silent?
Today's kids
Or do
aren't
they-
going to
do they-
care.
Some of the cars are adding actual noise now.
Noise so that you know you're doing something.
Yeah.
Right.
the problem with a Tesla is you can be go down Mass Pike, you're doing 95, and unless you look down,
You don't feel it. Yeah.
you
You don't even feel the acceleration.
you're just it's shocking. And today the autonomous cars, in 10 years we talk about autonomous cars. You get in your car and you program it to Hartford
And off
and
you
it
go.
gets you there.
Which isn't a bad deal.
So I mean,
Be
it's
great
Yes,
for your wife.
I would hate that because I don't even like to use cruise control.
I don't know if I could accept that. 9:47. I have one last break to do. We're going to make it a quick one. When we come back, I want to talk quickly about why Kathy is going to be abandoning me, and then maybe we'll come up with one or two possible trips we can make this summer.
Support for community radio on WSKB provided by Westfield Electroplating. Employing over 140 skilled platers, painters, and technicians, Westfield Electroplating was founded in 1946 and was the first company in the country to achieve National Aerospace and Defense Contractor Program accreditation, proudly maintaining that status for over a decade. Westfield Electroplating provides over 50 quality finishes to meet your corrosion, cosmetic, or performance needs. On the web at www.westfieldplating.com or 413-568-3716. Westfield Electroplating, putting the finishing touches on technology.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Friday mornings is something different on 89.5 FM. It's JP's Talk About Town.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
9:48, and for all intents and purposes, I'm going to call it 9:49 on the nose here at WSKB. Now, Kathy is abandoning me after today.
No, I'm not. I would never abandon you. We can still meet at Walmart. Shh, don't tell people.
I went to Wally this weekend. I even let you know, and you said, no, piss off, Ken. I'm not going.
I would never have said that to you, honey. I would never have said it that way.
That's what it felt like.
I might have said
Kathy
drop
said,
dead.
You know what, Ken? I don't care. I'm doing a few things. Just piss off. Go to Wally on your own.
Oh, God, he takes this personally. No,
Yes, he
I will
does.
be working for Westfield Park and Recreation.
Tell us about what you're doing
I
this July.
have 2 summer sessions for those of you out here looking for something to do with your children. I will be running 2 summer sessions. This year it is at Franklin Avenue School because Southampton Road has another agenda going on. So it is from 9 to 12. Actually, next week it'll be 9 to 1 because of the 4th of July. But after that week, it's 9 to 12, 2 2-week sessions, ages going into 4th grade and up. We have a great time. And the end of the 2 weeks, the children do a performance for the public. They are wonderful. We have a blast. Go to Westfield Parks and Recreations for more information. I think it's also on westfieldcity.org.
Also, speaking of the kids, started back up yesterday, the 24th. The Boys and Girls Club are providing lunches again this summer for kids and teens ages, and they go 2.9 to 18. All right, I don't know why they go 2.9 to 18, but
probably because the lunch isn't suitable for younger children.
yeah, so you can be 2.8.
That's the age of preschool,
and it'd be
2.9.
horrible, and then 3.0. Okay. So anyways, the lunches are back Monday through Friday. There are various different locations: Hubbard Street Spray Park, Sadie Knox Spray Park, Chapman Playground, Powder Mill Village, Edgewood Apartments, Colonial Pine Acres, CPA. And then on Thursdays only, there's the Church of the Atonement during the Farmers Market that they're around. Occasionally, they'll have it at the Boys and Girls Club and at the Westfield Middle School as well. Check out
Everybody got a flyer.
bgcwestfield.org. It came out in the mail the other day.
They mailed it to everybody.
If you didn't get
Good
it,
program.
if you didn't get it, you can go to bgcwestfield.club. That's Boys Girls Club Westfield.org. This is something I've been pushing every year during the summertime.
It's a great summer program.
And I feel
and you
remiss if I didn't mention
You do not need to be a member of the Boys and Girls Club to receive lunch.
And they don't ask any questions.
No,
You're
they
just
don't.
there
Yep.
and they feed you.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. So we're good.
So some of the speaking of them feeding you, I'm gonna try to do something here.
There's a segue.
Sometimes you might just go out for a cruise to get something to eat and get yourself fed, right?
I did that.
Sometimes that's just.
I did
sometimes
that in
that's
Charlotte,
the destination, right?
Charlotte, North Carolina. I went to a place called Pinky's. It was awesome.
Did you have the Elvis? Because that's what they're famous for, the Elvis sandwich.
No, I had the pork sandwich. The Korean pork sandwich.
So where would we go around here, Mark?
Well, I'm going to tell you a story about that. I'm driving down the coastal highway and coming out of San Francisco going south, and there's a vegetable stand that says peas. So I stop and buy these English peas that are the size of a magic marker. There's just so many places that we're talking about. Deerfield, the Deerfield Inn, the Whately Inn, up in the Berkshires. There's just so many places in the Berkshires.
There's Janine's Drive-In out in Where? That place is awesome.
I've been there.
Yeah.
The places that you just pull in and you just, my gosh, have some lunch, and I'm kind of stumped here where I could go, but
Sturbridge has
Village,
some great
yeah.
places.
Public
yeah.
House.
The Village, you have the Public House. Yeah.
You got what's the one up north of Sturbridge?
Rom's? Remember Rom's?
But there's another nice restaurant.
North of Sturbridge?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think.
Route 9 up there. Another great restaurant.
Used to be Ken's Steakhouse out there, but that's further out towards Worcester County.
But we're even close enough to get down to the coast. Get some good lobster.
I used to love
Abbott's. Go to Abbott's and Mystic.
I used to love going down to Point Judith.
For that matter,
George's.
2.5 hours or so, 3 maybe. P-Town and all the seafood restaurants, even.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and down in
North Shore,
not Provincetown, Point Judith, Galilee area where all the boats come in.
North Shore,
right off the boat.
North Shore, Gloucester, Rockport.
Yep, Plymouth.
Salem. Go to Salem for the day. Not in October, but
where
you
we
can go
are
in
here,
summer.
we're
Steve, would you go to any of those seafood restaurants? I know you're a picky eater.
Unfortunately,
If his wife
the
drives.
only restaurant that I would drive to is all the way in Montreal. It's Gibby's in Montreal. I love that place. It's an old horse barn.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about a 4.5 hour drive, so I don't get up there very often.
It's a heck of a road trip for dinner.
I really like going to the Musqueambica Beach where we used to go when we were kids. Yeah. I've taken my mom several times. Hey, Mom, we're going on a road trip on a Saturday and just go for dinner in Galilee.
One time, it had to be 30 years ago, at least. I took a week off for vacation, not really had plans for anything. And then the plans were, okay, we're going to go down to the Cape. And you're just going to drive and find a place, right? The morning I woke up, I don't feel like going to the Cape. Drove to Lake George and found a place.
That's a great place with kids.
We were just up there in the fall, Lake George.
Beautiful, and it's a
decent restaurants from what I remember.
Did you go on the mini haha?
We went on the mini haha.
Love the mini haha.
Ride.
Love it.
The fort they had.
But we just drove there and found a resort that had a room
Cabins,
available.
or whatever. Yeah.
Fort William Henry.
Yep. That's up there. And I just said to Mark, it's tough nowadays to find places to go with kids because kids expect everything to be Disney. But Lake George is a great resort for
Lake George
children.
is a beautiful place up in Lake George up there.
Do a side trip out to Howe Caverns or Secret Caverns while you're out there.
In Lake George, it's it's a huge resort. It's a huge resort up in Lake George. It's really high end, but
Is that the winter water park thing? The hotel that's a Six Flags, but it's a water park?
Nah, this is like a 5-star hotel.
Oh, okay.
But Lake George is talking about for kid friendly. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it is.
Remember the Magic Forest that they've got up there?
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
like this amusement
parasailing.
park, petting zoo.
You remember
from
the guy at the end of the
50s?
Mass Pike and 291? They've got a duplicate of him up in Lake George. Remember the guy that was standing?
Yeah, the guy that was at Mutual Ford.
Right. They've got a duplicate of him up in one of those water parks up in Lake George.
It could be the actual guy because that one's gone now.
No more Catskill Game Farm, though, right? I think that closed several years ago.
Well, there's Howe Caverns and Secret Caverns, too, which is kind of a cool little drive.
That's not very far. That's up in Cobleskill.
Yeah.
That's about an hour
Or
and
go
a
to
half.
Cooperstown.
Yeah, I've been to Cooperstown because
They're
my
on the
son
same
did
spot.
Of course, you've been to Cooperstown.
son did a baseball tournament up there,
Right.
and the Dreams Park, which is a couple miles outside of town.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the days your days off, you go to the Hall of Fame. You just go hang out in town.
Out in the Berkshires, you've got Jiminy Peak, and then they've got this climbing.
Berkshire East does too. Yeah, Berkshire's the zip line.
I forget what it's called.
climbing
It's got
walls.
zip lines, and you climb through the trees. I forget the name of it. It's a newer place. It's only been open a couple of years.
Okay.
So all types of places to go to within a few hours from our location. Look at this. It's 9:57. That's it. It's over. Mark, I want to thank you for
Thanks for having me
taking the drive
again
over here, and
look forward to coming back again.
you won't be coming back here. You'll be coming. You'll be going to the Westfield Tech Academy, where we will be broadcasting from now on. Steve, thanks for coming in. I wish I had the entire original crew here. I did the best I could.
We'll get it together someday.
Next week, let's see, what do I have planned? Next week is City Councilor for Ward 4, Mike Burns, is going to be in. And he will be down at Studio 120, where we will start broadcasting from, with plenty of options for chroma.
Thanks. You realize I'm all by myself all summer, right? The students don't come back till September.
I'll take care of the camera looks in between.
Yeah, okay.
All right. 9:58. That's it from Ely.
Thank you
here
very much.
at
Thanks for having me.
WSKB.
Bombadita, 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 bombadita,
Until we meet again. Happy trails to you.
bombadita, bombadita,
Keep smiling on the band.
Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and think about sunny weather.
Happy trails to you. Till we meet again.